A very good morning to everyone live on the webinar. I'm much elated to welcome you all to the 9th Student Development Program of VET Institute of Arts and Science. I welcome Principal Dr. Saravanan R., Dean of Academics Dr. Matthew, Administrative Officer Mr. Logesh Kumar S., and members of faculty and dear students to the session. I'd like to give a few instructions before we begin the session. A link will be shared at the end of the session, and this link will be active for only a minute. No certificates will be provided for this event since it's a part of your student development program. You have to fill this link within minutes time that is given, and only that will validate your attendance in this session. Kindly pin the user by the name Nandakumar Ishwaran. He will be the resource person of the day. Pin the account of the name Nandakumar Ishwaran and type a yes in the chat box once you've done so. A quick introduction to our guest of the day. Mr. Nandakumar has completed MBA from VLB College of Engineering and Technology in 2009 and thereafter completed CMA from the Institute of Cost Accounts of India and CS from the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. He is the beloved student of our principal, Dr. Saravanan. Mr. Nandakumar has a decade of experience in manufacturing sector specialized in automobile and consumer goods industries. He's working for Robert Bosch India in Bangalore. He has a wide experience in plant controlling, internal auditing, finance, accounts, taxation, and data analytics. With no further ado, I request Mr. Nandakumar to start his presentation.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, you're audible. We may start.
Yeah. Okay, shall I open the video or shall I mute that as well?
So you can leave that on. You can turn that on.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay. Right. So, a warm good morning to everybody who has came to this session. So, as introduced by the ma'am, I'm Nanda, working for Bosch India Limited for almost 10 years now. And for me, being present in front of the students is really a great pleasure for me. Yes, I like that to present in front of the students. Okay. Right. So we'll just try to jump into the topic. Okay. So I've not prepared any slides. So I will try to keep my presentation as sharp as possible, and I'll make you to remember this topic with a kind of a mind mapping strategy as well. Okay. So in between, I'll be interacting with the students. So whenever I ask a question, please reply back. Or if you have any questions, please stop me and please check with me. Is that okay, madam? Fine.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, the students can speak right in between the sessions.
So they'll be responding to you in the chat box instead of turning their mic on. Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, so whenever I ask a question, please reply back in the chat box so that I can read it. So we'll go in that way. Okay. So fine. So I'd like to give a kind of a mind mapping techniques now. So I'll just tell you. Now we are almost in the biggest crisis that India has seen actually. So I'll be starting with the COVID-19. What is the impact that has created to the Indian economy? Then I'll be touching upon with the worst hit industries. So in that industries, I'll be talking about the automotive and the consumer goods industries and five key challenges. This will be my presentation. This is the entire content of my presentation. So I'll be starting with the COVID-19 impact to the worst hit in Indian economy and worst hit industries. And in that industries, automotive and consumer goods, I'll be just touching upon that topic. Then there's five key challenges. Okay, this will be my entire agenda of today's presentation. Okay, fine. So now actually we are almost living in a kind of a VUCA world. Okay, this terminology could be a new different thing for the students. VUCA, V-U-C-A. Okay, so that is the keyword here. Okay, we are in a VUCA world. Is anybody can tell me what is this VUCA means? Expansion of VUCA. Maybe you can start chatting in the chat box. VUCA. Yeah, maybe you can give a try. It's not that it needs to be as exact as I'm expecting. Students, can I get some reply here? I'll give a 30 seconds time for that. Let's see. Is anybody cracking that code? VUCA. I said VUCA world. We are now living in a situation called as VUCA world. The clock is ticking now. 5 more seconds I'll give. Complexity, yes, you cracked C. Similarly, we have, I got the answer. Yes, Nitin, Akash, I can see some more chats in front before Nitin, Akash. Superb, yeah. So we are almost living in a VUCA world. The expansion is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, okay. So COVID is one of the unknown that has arrived on a global scale to such an extent as nobody has expected. So we are almost living in the kind of this VUCA world. We don't know what is going to happen in the future. So that's how all industries operate, okay. So that is the key challenges actually. So to living in this VUCA world itself is a big challenges, and maintaining the profitability at this current situation is also a very biggest challenges actually. So I almost understand that the students are mostly from the commerce background, okay. So I understood from the Saravanan sir. So probably this commerce students are playing a major role in this crisis in the industries. So I'm also a commerce graduate. So taking care of the criticality of profitability at the situation is really a very big challenge actually, I would say. Okay, so this is what I just wanted to touch about this VUCA. Then the COVID. Okay, because of this COVID, and the data that I'm going to talk about is till May. I'm not updated till June. The data is almost about April and May data actually. Okay, so because of this COVID, there is a lot of hotspots which has turned into a red zones. Okay, because of this, there is a absolute lockdown for the 2 months. Now it is also a bit extending, but there are some relaxation as well. But if you see for the March, April, and the middle of May, there was an absolute complete lockdown. Okay, so this hotspots, they are talking about the hotspots, the red zones. So can anybody ping how many hotspots that we had in India? Now let us see from the students how many of them are right or wrong. I'll tell you, because of this hotspots, there is a lot of impact to the economy. I can able to tell you what is the percentage that we have lost because of this hotspots. I mean the percentage of GDP that we have lost. No, 4 is not wrong. I mean it's wrong. In India as a whole, Christo Leo has knocked the nail actually. And sorry, I think it's Prabha Sok. Okay, Prabha, I think. Yeah, you're right, Prabha. It is almost 170 districts. Okay, so 170 districts, there were in a complete hotspots, and it was completely blocked. Okay, do you know how much? Okay, thanks, colleagues. So Raja Surya has also answered it right. Monica, it's too big to say 250 is so high. Okay, so yes, almost 170 districts as actually it is in hotspots. Because of this, how much GDP we have lost? You know, it is almost 25 to 30% is the loss in terms of GDP to India because of this hotspots. So we almost lost to that extent of 25 to 30% of our GDP. So GDP, you may aware of it, right? The gross domestic product of our country. That is something that we are going to generate in a particular year. Okay, the revenue to the government. Okay, so yeah, fine. So because of this kind of hotspots and all those COVID crises, now we'll just touch upon the Indian economy. Okay, how much is? Oops. Sorry, I just moved into the next screen. Sorry. So because of this, our Indian economy has get a great. I not say a great. It's like a disaster for the Indian economy actually. So because of this, our GDP growth rate, the projection is for the fiscal year 19 and 20, it was around 6 to 7%. Okay. So now the fiscal year for 19 and 20, I mean like 2019 April to 2020 March. We are not gone into that lockdown zone. We are Still before that March only, I'm just talking about that period. Earlier, the projection is around 6 to 7%. Now the projection is only around 4%. Okay. Since India has experienced the COVID only in the month of only in the end of the March. Okay. The first quarter, India is untouched. But nevertheless, if you see, the projection has gone from 7% to 4%. So 3% has completely slashed. Do you know why? Because India will not face the COVID crisis in the month of March, right? It's triggered in March in India. Okay. But nevertheless, we also, our GDP is also got down by 3%. It is mainly because China has impacted in the first quarter of 2020. Okay. So that is the effect that we are getting from China. So for the 3 months of China's shutdown has impacted 3% of our GDP to India. So China, I'll be talking about more here in this today's session, because we are almost pretty much dependent upon the China for our raw materials. Okay. So just to touch upon that, so for automobile sector, something, we almost procure around 30% of raw materials from China. So because of lockdown in Wuhan and other parts of China, we are not getting materials to produce the goods that we need to manage, that we need to produce. Okay. So because of that, we are almost lost by 3%. So now, what would be the projection for fiscal year 20 to 2021? Because now India is almost in the crisis now. Okay, for the last 3 to 4 months, we are in a crisis. So the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, usually projects the GDP figures for India. So now it is almost projecting around 1 to 2% will be the GDP growth for 2020 to 2021. Okay, so that much is the impact that COVID has created among the Indian industries. So now we are just speaking about the India as a whole. Okay, so I'll also give you an interesting fact now. Okay, so India, if you see the cluster of Indian economy, we are almost present in manufacturing and service sector. So manufacturing, if you see, our presence is almost around 40% only. But in case of service sector, it is 60%. In service, we are just booming in IT industries and ITES industries. Okay, but in case of manufacturing, we are only 40%. Okay, just for your thought. And I'll also touch upon the US and India, how their cluster looks like. So US is also predominantly a kind of a service industry related countries. Okay, so US, 80% of the share is in service. So the manufacturing is pretty only 20%. But if you take China as a whole, their presence in manufacturing is 52%, whereas our presence is only 40%. And in service, they are almost 48%. Okay. So 52%, the China dominance in manufacturing is 40%. That's why you can see because of the China is getting locked down, almost all the countries industry is getting impacted. So that's why maybe our honorable Prime Minister also is talking about this Make in India and all those incentives that they are giving to boost production in India. Okay, so that is the reason actually. So now almost all the industries in India are facing the same kind of pressure. Because of the China's dominance in manufacturing. Okay, so that is one. So now we almost talked about the Indian economy. Now Indian economy. Initially, I told I'll be talking about mind mapping also. So Indian economy just understood like what is the GDP impact that we had because of crisis, and what is our share in manufacturing and the service sector, and because of that less share in seeing now because of this COVID. So that is what all about the Indian economy as a whole. So now we will just go to our Indian industries. Okay, so Indian industries, the worst hit industries. Okay, can anybody text me that what is the worst hit industries because of this COVID? Yeah, now again I'll give 15 to 20 seconds time. Worst hit industries because of this COVID. Automobile, yeah, that is one of the industries. Amazon, I don't think so. Amazon is doing its business pretty well. Online industries are picking up now, actually. Agriculture, yes, to some extent, yes. Automobile is one. The worst hit. Civil, yes, to some extent, because of the contract workers. Mobile tourism, yes. Leka Jani, yes. Picked it up, yes. Transport, garments. Yeah, tourism. Yeah, that's what I was expecting. Retail, actually, retail is doing pretty well because we are getting our basic things every day. Okay. Logistics, yes. Yeah, almost I got the answer actually now. See the aviation, like the tourism. Yes, Raja Shurya is typing once again. I mean, yeah, the tourism is the worst hit industries. Yes, tourism, like aviation industry, hotel industry. So these are all the main two industries that has got a worst hit because of this COVID. Then after that, the automotive industries. Okay, so major impact, if you see, these are all the three main industries: aviation, hotel, then automotive and auto parts manufacturing. Okay. Yeah, so these are all the worst hit industries that has got affected. So since I'm coming from the background of automotive, I'd like to touch upon the hit that automotive has had. Okay, see, automotive, like it is getting a double whammy effect, not only because of COVID but also because of this BS 4 norms. Okay, BS, the last year government has announced the BS 4 vehicles will not run in India in the month of in 2020. Okay, they has to shift from BS 4 to BS 6. So many, I mean, for most of the automotive industry in India is running with BS4 engines. Okay, so they have got a lot of inventories with BS4 engines. They need to liquidate that. So on the other side, the government is announcing it is going to shift from BS4 to BS6. Okay, from 2020. Initially, it was told in April it will be implemented, but now not started yet. Still, automotive industry is feeling the pressure of BS4. On top of that. Yes, of course, our big brother COVID is also creating a major hit for the automotive industries. So I already touched upon that. We are almost dependent upon 30% of the components and the raw materials from the China. So that is also creating a lot of pressure on the Indian industries. So because of these two effects, so I said double whammy because of BS norms and COVID. So these two things has really created a washout for the automotive industries. So if you see, there is almost a negative growth of around 19 to 20% in the fiscal year of 2020-2021 is expected in almost in all the automotive industries. Okay, fine. So this is all about the worst hit industries part. So we talked about Indian economy and we just spoke about the automotive industries as well. Okay, so now we are just going into the challenges. Okay, so if I just filtered out 5 key challenges that the industry is facing right now. Okay, so you know something, there is a quote actually. Okay, near term survival is really needed for the longer term prosperity. Okay, so we need to survive now and prosper. Okay, so without surviving and managing the short term, how could we be there in the long term? So that's why the quote is near term for longer term prosperity. Okay, so this is the quote that almost all the industries are focusing on that, focusing on short term goals or needs, I would say, for almost all the industries. Okay, so in that, the short term focus, there are 5 key points that all the industries have picked it up. Okay. So I'll be touching on each and every point. So I'll also be interacting with you on each and every point. Okay. So this is the 5 common goals. If somebody asks you what is the challenges that the industry is facing, you can talk about this 5 key challenges. Okay. The first one is people. So people, when I touch upon people, okay, our human resource colleagues are playing a great role with respect to this particular challenge. Okay, they are just taking care of the safety, health, and well-being of all employees. Then Keeping people occupied, that is also a biggest challenge. Okay, keeping people occupied is also a great challenge. So for that, they also introduced a lot of online courses for the industry colleagues, like the kind of data analytics and other online courses that is prevalent to their domain. So they are just picked it up and they are just making people engaged. So that itself is a great challenge. And they are also taking care of all the contract employees of the particular companies, so that they make sure that they are getting enough, the groceries and all those amounts which needed for them to survive. Okay. So this is how the people is focused with respect to industries. Okay. So HR is playing a major role with respect to people. Okay. The next point is cash. Okay. So when I talk about cash, here our commerce and finance colleagues are playing a major role in cash. Okay. This is one of the biggest challenge for the finance management colleagues who are working in the industries. Okay. So there is one saying is here, turnover isn't a sale unless we collect the money. So we need to collect money, right? So then only it will be a turnover. So when we give them a good credit, when we don't get cash, then how the employees will get the salary for the next month. So that is the biggest challenge. So turnover will not be a sale unless we collect money. So for that, the finance colleagues are merely fully focusing on this working capital. Can anybody tell me what is working capital is all about? Just give me in 2 to 3 words, that is enough. You don't want to explain the entire theory behind the working capital. Just give me a key word with respect to working capital. So I believe we have most of the commerce colleagues are here. Cash, which is used for raw materials. Okay. Day-to-day operations, yeah, Akshay is right. I like to expect some more views also from here. Term fund. I'll wait for another 5 seconds. Capital used for day-to-day expenses, fund of assets and liabilities to meet day-to-day expenses, day-to-day trading. Current assets and liabilities, yes, Srimati is right. Current assets and liabilities. Gokul is also right. Day-to-day operations, yeah. Okay. Fine. Capital, as I said, this is the money that is needed for running the day-to-day operations of the industry. Okay. So day-to-day operations at this crisis, mainly 2 things. One is salary. Another one is for paying the fixed costs such as rent and other those expenses that is we need to pay at any time and interest. Okay. So these are all the things that an organization need cash to survive. To spend their cash in these 2-3 components. Okay. So to get the cash, to manage the day-to-day operations, in which area that the company should focus on? What is working capital predominantly talking about? In which areas that the finance or commerce colleagues should focus upon? So now I need your answers. Which area that the company can focus so that they get their money to run their day-to-day operations? Sales, no. Sales is almost blocked. There is no sales. Yeah, current assets. What is current assets? What is the components in current assets? Include here now. Because actually Tirumurthy has pinned as sales because we don't have sales right now. So we need to focus upon the current assets. Yeah, bills receivable, correct. I read bills receivable. Then some more items. No, capital will not come at all here. I'm talking about only working capital. There's a difference between capital and working capital. Working capital is almost a short term. Payable, yes, I got the money. I got the answer. Creditors, bills payable, bank balance. Bills payable. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So inventory also I saw, it's a very, very nice point picked up by our students. Okay. Super. So almost our students have cracked the answer actually. So actually we are just focusing on three main areas in these things. One is receivables, payables, and inventory. Okay. So the first one is receivables, the bills receivables. Okay. So what are all the outstanding that we need to collect from our customers, our dealers? Okay. We need to focus on that. Okay. We cannot keep that as pending for a long time because we are at most in a situation that we need cash to run the day-to-day operation for the organizations. Okay. So the main objective of the finance, the commerce colleagues, works industry, they just puts up in a diagram that this much of have to this particular customer for these many days, just focus on that. So that is what we just give directions to the management upon our receivables. That is one point. The next one is payables. When we are not even generating money, why we need to spend money on our like the expenses and all those stuffs. Expenses, I mean like the travel and all those stuffs. Okay, so we need to sensitize all the payments. Okay, we are almost like cutting down all the nice to have expenses for the industries. Okay, so almost literally there is no spend has happened in the last 3 months. All nice to have expenses, all those things are completely slashed. This is payables part. The third one is inventories. So inventories, I said, we already have a lot of huge chunk of inventories in our warehouses. So now almost the government is releasing some areas, some shops or the dealer shops. So we are almost liquidating our inventories. We are just fully focusing on our inventories to dilute. So that is one of the most critical thing that our organization is facing. Unfortunately, I mean, luckily our automotive industry is not perishable item, so we are just safeguarded with that part. So moreover, we are just focusing on diluting our inventories rather than rather than making it produced or kind of one which is we normally go for trading. Okay, so we almost cut down that also. So we are just our full focus is on diluting the inventory that we have. So mainly these three areas that we are focusing. The one is receivables, payables, and the inventories. Okay. Then coming a big expenditures. Anyway, the capital expenditure of working capital, but nevertheless, capital expenses actually that is also completely slashed. We have just stopped all the. Almost all the industries have stopped all the improvement projects. Okay, because for them the short-term survival is very important now. Okay, so yes, of course, R&D is really needed, but not at this critical situation as like we are facing now. Okay, so this is what I just wanted to tell about respect to cash. Okay, so the cash, commerce and finance are playing a major role in directing or giving directions to the management on the spendings and securing our profitability portion. So we just touched two big challenges now. So can anybody tell what is the two challenges that we discussed right now? People, yes. That is the first one. The second one, cash. Superb. So these are the two key challenges that we are focusing. And now I'm just going into the third one. Okay. Cost structures. Okay. So cost structures, we mean to say, what do you mean by cost structures? Okay. So now almost all the industries are just focusing on the cost structures. Mainly two things are playing a major role here. Okay. The supply chain strategies and the product sourcing structures. Okay. Supply chain strategies and the product sourcing structure. These are the main two areas that almost all the organizations are just focusing. Initially, I just touched upon the China's dominance in the manufacturing sector. They almost have around 52%. Okay. So now, because of this, China's Wuhan, the lockdown crisis in China in the first quarter for India, the Jan to March, we are just everybody are realizing the difference that they have on the China's imports. Okay, so almost I would say even our companies also started focusing on Make in India. I said we are almost buying around 30% of our raw materials from China. Now we are just looking for the suppliers who can able to produce that in India and get that products done. Yes, of course, initially it will be a very big challenge, and day by day, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. There is a quote. So we are just focusing on that now. Okay. So this is one of the main area that cost structure is dealing about: supply chain and the product sourcing strategies. Okay, and the cost structures, I would like to touch upon one more point. Because of this COVID, many organizations also seeing some opportunities in cutting down their cost. Okay, it's kind of a low hanging fruits. Because of this COVID, we realized the impact of kind of an opportunity that COVID has shown. So flexibility. Yeah, before asking somebody else, flexibility. Okay, what do you mean by the flexibility is all about, Gokul? What flexibility you thought about in your mind? Maybe you can type it. Yeah, the question is for the open forum now. Okay, so what is the opportunity that every industry that they are seeing? Yeah, for cost structure. Yeah, okay, flexibility for cost structure. Okay. Okay, I talked about supply chain and product sourcing. Okay, this is a different part. Okay, now my question is a different one. Like, what is the opportunity that COVID has taught to many industries? This is not about the supply chain product sourcing. No, this is completely a different area. Because whatever the challenges that we see, we have to see the opportunities in that. So what is a big opportunity that most of the industries are seeing because of COVID? Job opportunity. Okay. I like your optimistic. Yeah. I'll give one more hint or a clue. Because of this, the organization's cash position is getting increased. They can able to cut down their costs to a greater extent in the coming years. Yeah, this is actually a pretty nice, interesting topic. I'd like to touch upon, 30 to 60 seconds for the answers. Job of domestic manufacturing. Yes, of course, it is almost there. Domestic manufacturing is almost there. This is a pretty low hanging fruit. For doing a domestic manufacturing, for example, in order to have a relocation of the product, you need to work upon more. Okay, here you don't want to work anything. It's really a kind of a low hanging fruit. You don't want to do anything. Just take that fruit and put it into your business. That's kind of yeah. Salary cut I saw. No, salary cut is not a kind of a good thing that all the employees will see. No export, no. More startups, okay. Okay, some more. I'm just looking for that key thing. Let's see, digitalization, of course. I'm just looking for a key thing now. If you, maybe if you have got a time to speak to your any of your brothers or sisters who are working, they might have told you. If you had a chance to speak to anybody who was working, they might have told you what they are on situation now. New jobs, okay. So this is for the industry. They can cut down their cost to a larger extent because of this opportunity. Somebody said digitalize. I got the answer. Kavi Parameshwari, work from home. That's really a nice one, for the kind of a work from home. Okay. So many organizations are thinking about that. Mainly, yeah, Sakti is also given the answer, work from home. Yes, thumbs up to you both. Like many industries are just checking about this kind of an opportunity that they can able to adopt in their normal course of operations. It's mainly applicable to IT and ITES sectors. Okay, I also had an opportunity to talk with a person who works in IT industry. Okay, You were just telling by 2025, they are just planning to implement this work from home options for almost 50 to 60% of their employees. Okay, so think about the situation now. So they don't want to spend more on the infrastructure, and they don't want to pay the rental cost. That is really a kind of a sunk cost, the rents and all. So we need to pay every time. Every year we need to do that. So they can just look about kind of without any infrastructure they can work. That's really a great thing that mainly that many IT and IT industries are looking for. But once it's purely on the mindset. So once actually everybody are feeling that it's a good opportunity, so they are just thinking about it. So once it is implemented, then it will be a very good cost-saving thing for the IT and ITES sectors. Okay, and for manufacturing, network and electricity charges, no other expenses. Yes, of course, they can really reap the benefits because of this work from home options. Okay, so manufacturing, we don't have any other options. Definitely, the factory should run. So that we cannot think about that. So it's predominantly applicable for the IT and ITES industries. Okay, and I also read the comment of digitalization. Yes, so many industries are also working on reshaping their travel budgets. So normally for a typical industry, with respect, they almost spend around 5 to 6% of the total cost for the travel. So because of the digital way of working, they are just reshaping their travel. Okay, so they can do kind of a video conferencing, so all those stuff that they can do, and they have a rule that there is. For our company now, we have kind of this rule this year, that there will not be any travel. Okay, unless if it is a pressing need for an employee to generate sales. Okay, to generate sales, yes, travel is accepted, and other than that, all nice to travel, all those things are completely slashed out. Okay. So the reshaping the travel budget, that is also one of the best thing that COVID has given to industry. So if anybody asks you what is the opportunity that every industry is facing, that you can tell about this. One is their travel budgets cut. The other one is their work from home options. Okay, so because of this digitalization, so okay, these things you can keep it in your mind. So this is what all about the cost structures part. And we have two more challenges. The one is the operation, the other one is compliances. Okay, so operations, I am just more particular to the manufacturing sectors. So now there are some factories which is up and running now because of the relaxation of lockdown norms. So I'll tell you what is happening currently. So they also taken a lot of measures in running the factory. They also do a pre-health checkup of the employees who enters into the factory, and they also adopted new normal like self-distancing part in almost all the workstation that an employee is manufacturing a product. Okay, and with respect to operation, there are a lot of scenario calculation is happening. There could be chances that there will be a second wave of down. Okay, so almost now we are just preparing the profitability with respect to considering this kind of situation. When there is going to be a second lockdown, what would be our profitability? What would be the impact on the profitability? So this is what is currently happening with respect to operations part. And the last one is compliances. Okay. So compliances, now the mainly the data security is playing a major role in compliances. Now we are almost everybody are working from home, so the data security team is just on full alert. Okay, they make sure that the data is not exploited. Okay, that is one part. Another one is auditing. So now we have this year end also. It is almost now it is happening now. The March we completed the fiscal year of 19 and 20. Now almost the auditing is happening online. How can we imagine auditing happening online? So for that, mainly every company has got an internal auditors. So they are just coordinating with the statutory auditors, and they are just auditing the books online. So this is one of the great thing that so far no auditors have really experienced this kind of situation. So this is kind of a new normal for the auditors also to audit through online. Okay, so this is one of the compliance part. So can anybody quickly text me what is the short-term or key challenges that an organization is facing? So I just talked about five key challenges. Yeah, I'll give you 30 seconds. Let's see the five key challenges that all the industries in India is facing. Yeah, students. People, yes. People, cash, yeah, correct. People, cash, correct. Then three more. Cost structures, yes. People, cash, cost structures. I saw some operations and compliances. Perfect. Compliances, okay. Yeah, so these are all the five key challenges that every organization is facing. And what is the opportunity because of COVID? Opportunities. Work from home, yes. Yeah. Work from home, then that is one of the biggest opportunity. Travel budget, perfect. Yeah. Then the other one is with respect to cost structures like manufacturing in India. So that is also one of the very big opportunities. Okay. Yeah. So I'll just quickly take you through the topics that we have gone through today. So because of the VUCA world that we are living now, what is the impact that we had for the Indian economy as a whole? From that Indian economy, we just talked about the worst hit industries. You also gave the answer like aviation, travel, all those worst hit industries. So from the worst hit industries, we just talked about the automotive industries part with respect to COVID. Then we just talked about five key challenges that all the organization is facing. Okay. So, so this is overall. This is my topic now. I'm almost going to complete now. So actually, I will just give you a quick this one. So you can ask me how the recovery would be. Okay. So for any crisis that has happened, there is normally two types of recovery that will happen. Okay. One is U-shaped recovery, and other one is V-shaped recovery. Okay. U-shaped recovery, as the alphabet U says that if there is going to be any crisis, for the economy to grow well, it will take some more time, okay? Because the base is bigger, so it will take time, okay? And there is another type of recovery that is V-shaped recovery, okay? V, okay? So if there is any crisis, the recovery would be like quicker, okay? So it's like COVID. What do you say? I'll just throw this question to the audience now. The recovery would be U or V? U, V. I like this V, W-E-V. Okay, the recovery is actually, I would say the recovery would be the V-shaped recovery, okay? Because this is not a natural disaster altogether per se, because our infrastructure is intact, even though our transport system is also intact, okay? So all our infrastructure is safe, okay? This kind of a crisis is normally, the recovery would be a V-shaped recovery. So almost if you see, the lockdown is almost completed now. Some industries are allowed to operate with some restrictions, okay? So now we are just seeing the sale is also getting picked up because of this kind of relaxation. So we are just catching up the loss that we have lost, okay, in the last 2 months. So I would strongly say this is a V-shaped recovery. So our economy will boom again, okay, it will come back again. So be optimistic in that. So thanks for the opportunity for presenting this topic to the students. Thank you. So over to you, ma'am and sir.
Thank you for your presentation, sir. Now, students, if you have any questions, you can post it in the chat box, for which sir will be happy to answer. Any questions?
Or feedback also, maybe if you want to share some feedback also, you can do it. How was the session? Maybe you can also type it. Thank you, students. Just any questions? Maybe you might have thought something.